Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today I'm reviewing Quantum Leap, Season 1, Episode 17. It's entitled The Friendly Skies, coming to you from NBC, streaming on Peacock. So, what did I think about it, and should you be watching? And before we get into the review, get down there, hit like on this video. Well, we've reached the penultimate episode of Quantum Leap. Everything's building up to, one final leap. But right before that, we've got to deal with a big hijacking situation on a 1970s, airline. And Ben gets to be a young lady, a flight attendant on a cross-Atlantic journey, and all that entails, including the dashing little, mini skirt, uniform. But everything's not as it would seem. This whole plane goes down into the Atlantic, and it's a big old mystery about why it did so. But thanks to the work at Quantum Leap, maybe they can stop this from happening. Oh, but there's a bit of a wrinkle, because in the previous episode, Janice revealed that Ziggy was in fact the mole for the whole project, which makes sense because clearly there's leapers in the future. They would have access to Ziggy, so they would have access to exactly what the project was doing at that moment. So the whole way of getting in front of those leapers is to cut Ziggy off. So Ian's not really with it, but they turn Ziggy off, and now they got to do everything the good old-fashioned way without a supercomputer doing a lot of the thinking for them. And it leads to really Ben sort of being, he's not on his own, but he really is sort of flying a little blind, so to speak, as he goes to figure out, why did this plane go down? And it's a slow unraveling of, was it mechanical failure? Was it, was it intentional, by the pilot to bring everyone down, because of his personal problems or personal demons, and ultimately is hijacking, and how does that play into it? Along the way, of course, as usual, he meets his different people, like the son of the CEO of the airline, and he's kind of a I don't want to call self-centered, but a bit awkward, but also kind of self-centered, pampered kid. His minder, who's a former NYPD detective, and then of course, his Ben's co-worker, who's kind of helped his the person get into this whole flight attendant thing, at least the cross-Atlantic thing, and of course having to deal with all the horribly misogynistic, attitudes of the era. So, Ben takes it in stride as usual. He's a great leaper. He's really good at kind of just, going with the flow and trying to figure out what's going on. But unfortunately, he's also been sort of burned by the near-death experience of the previous episode. And he's kind of not wanting to trust anybody else with, trying to solve the leap. Which is kind of to his detriment, but also sort of works out. Because, Ben's got good instincts about who to trust, who to go to, all that sort of thing. And it sort of, keeps them ahead of the curve, so to speak, when they find out it is, in fact, hijackers, and that they're trying to, get a ransom basically for everyone so they can, get off. And it's like, get off to Cuba, because that's the thing you do in the 70s, I guess. And so much of that is pretty straightforward stuff. Back in the real world, you have Ian not just being slighted by Ziggy, whose code they were very intimately involved with creating, at least the revival of Ziggy, but also being under pressure to do a lot of the legwork, like, at least leading the legwork, and also trying to figure out, what to collate all the data so that they could help Ben out. And you also have Addison, who's sort of being concerned about Ben's not wanting to trust anyone anymore. And you, of course, you have them worried about, the mystery leaper and where this is all leading to. And so, and I also like that Ian's really still struggling with the fact that they're the person that leads Ben to do the leaping in the first place. So they wonder, like, what kind of person are they in the future? And I think they sort of answer that pretty well towards the end of the episode, as what they reveal. But the actual this episode was really fun in the sense that it's a nice little mystery, or then there's a hijacking situation, and you sort of see the way Ben sort of navigates the fact that the hijackers aren't that great at it, and then using, of course, future knowledge and understanding and a lot of chemistry, sort of figuring out how to deal with the hijackers that have control of the plane. And that leads to then having to land the plane and having to trust the young man whose parents own the airline, who also is a flight buff and is also eventually is going to be a pilot, and trusting him to go and take care of a hydraulic line that was ruptured by gunfire, and then having to land. And it provides a pretty beautiful little scene where Ian comes in to help Ben land the plane, essentially to walk him through it, and finding out that Ben actually does remember Ian, and unlike Jen, he does remember Ian, and that they have a shared history together. And it was really nice to have that little bit of camaraderie, and to know that there's genuine friendship and affection between them. Really, really nice stuff there. And of course, they end up landing the plane and everything. Of course, they save the day because that's what Ben Song does. That's his thing. Again, he's a great leaper, so it's not a surprise that he saves the day, but also kind of saves him from being too cynical. He thinks he's too nice. Maybe he can be saved from the cynicism too. And he leaps, of course, just as he finishes the landing, which leads us to kind of the big stinger, the lead up to the final episode of the season, which is the final destination, the final leap. Where was Ben headed to, and why? And it turns out that Ian's earlier in the season, likening it to a slingshot, actually was on point, because he finds himself someplace that even Sam Beckett never found himself, which was in the future, in the far future apparently, because we find an older, much older Ian waiting for Ben, and knowing that he's there, and apparently a bombed out nuclear winter sort of situation in LA. So there's a lot of questions coming out of here. What is this weird future that where everything's bombed out, that Ian was waiting for? And clearly this is where future Ian was going to send Ben, and for a good reason. So we're going to find all of that out on the next episode. But I really like this episode. Hey, overall, had a lot of good fun stuff. Good, guest starring characters and everything. The little bit with Ian and Ben interacting was lots of fun. So I'm really just excited to see how they wrap this season up. There seems to be a lot going on. Who are the evil leapers, and what are they trying to get at? What's up with Martinez? We're going to find out next week. So anyway, what did you guys think about this episode? What did you think about what I had to say? Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And do me a favor, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. All that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people to see these videos. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining me. Come back next week. We got the final episode of the first season of Quantum Leap. Until then, I've been Mode Poupée, your resident fabricant and commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture, and I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.